All right, Israel, happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath to you too.
Okay, Most High Christ bless everybody. All right, so praises Israel to the Most High once again for bringing us together, fellowship, learn what the will of the Lord is. We're going to continue on our series, Sinners in the Bible. This should be part 10. And let's go to Exodus, the 16th chapter.
Bless you.
So adding insult to injury, after the Israelites was told by the Most High Yahweh that they would end up dying in the wilderness, they continued to sin further. So us, bless you, like us, when we are corrected or warned and we're told what we should not be doing because those things bring forth judgments of the Most High, we're not supposed to continue to sin. Now, so Exodus chapter 16 and start at verse 16.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 16 and 16. This is the thing which the Lord had commanded. Gather of it every man according to...
I'm sorry. 16 and 1. We're going to start this from the top.
This is Exodus chapter 16 and 1. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of sin.
They came into the wilderness of sin. Where should they be at? They should be in the land. Wait on y'all. Let's get settled. Let's be in the spirit. Let's concentrate. Let's pay close attention, undivided attention. So they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of sin. If we were to guess, why would it be called sin? If we were to guess, could it be because they sinned against the Most High? And what was their sin against the Most High that made them go into the wilderness and not into the land? Who knows? Raise your hand. That should be everybody. Oh, okay, great. So what? Okay, another murmuring. The Most High hears it. Go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. So murmuring can get you judged. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1. And verse 5. Pay close attention. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1. And verse 5. Go ahead.
The Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and 5. For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit.
So if your mind ain't right, the Spirit of the Most High is like, okay, I'm gone. Okay, go ahead.
And remove from thoughts that are without understanding.
Right, and without understanding. People will be like, I don't understand this. I don't understand that. So then they, in their mind. Well, when you like that, you actually showing a grief for the commandments. The way that you're supposed to live, the stuff that you're supposed to do, and the stuff that you're not supposed to do, all of that. The Spirit will remove from you. Now, what y'all witnessed today out in the camp, those people were getting upset and mad because the scriptures was making them, because some of the stuff that he was saying was like, yo, you trying to say that I'm dumb? Y'all trying to say that I'm dumb? I'm this, I'm that? I'm saying, nobody said that, brother. We're not saying that you're dumb. We bringing out the scriptures. I'm bringing out the scriptures. Well, when the scriptures come out and you don't want to do them, the scriptures are always going to be smarter than us. The scriptures are always going to correct us and tell us what we should do and what we shouldn't do. And that way that you got to walk in, you're not to feel grievous about the things that the scriptures is telling you that you have to do and things that you cannot do as far as your behavior. You can't feel no type of way about that. The reason is because you want the Lord to continue to dwell with you. You don't want the Most High to leave you. If the Most High leave you, you know the thing that you're afraid of? Getting beat up, getting jumped, getting robbed, getting carjacked, getting fired from your job. Those things will come down upon you. So when we have to apply the scriptures, you got to learn to do it with the understanding of the purpose of their law. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to have y'all to repeat it with me so that we could get it in. You have to understand. 1, 2, 3. You have to understand.
You have to understand
the purpose of that law.
the purpose of that law
And what it does.
and what it does.
Exactly. That's it. So now, the law comes in and is supposed to prevent somebody from harming another person. So here it is. You might be the person that can harm somebody. Whether it's stealing. Don't you know that stealing will hurt somebody, the person that you stole? I think the one brother got twisted with that. It's like you and you probably got it from you. It's like, what about your car? You was like, do you have a car, man? You park your car. When you come outside, don't you expect the car to still be there? He had nothing to say. Yeah, you expect to come out in my car. I expect to still be there. Okay, whether it's, stealing, lying. What about a fornicating spirit? Don't you know that a fornicating spirit, because your rocks wants to get off, that at the end it can leave somebody else mentally messed up and crushed, abused, hurt, desolate, left alone? What if they've been building their character for a long time, and then here you come around, sweep them off their feet with your lies, they give in to you, and you was nothing but a fly by night. Here today, gone tomorrow. Do you not know the damage that you just did to that person, their self-esteem? So there's laws. So you can't be in your feelings about the laws when the laws come out. You can't be in your feelings. Them laws is prevent people from hurting you and to stop you from hurting other people. Okay? So if we feel in some type of way, we're in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1, and that was verse 5, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. So it'll leave you if you don't have good intentions. And you're supposed to know that the spirit is not there when you see somebody misbehaving. You're supposed to know the spirit ain't on them when you see them misbehaving. It's not that I'm a genius. It's that I see you misbehaving. So I'm going to say the spirit ain't there. That's how. Christ said, you got to listen. When all the time I'm telling you, you got to pay attention. That's what I do. I pay attention. Christ said, you're going to know them by their fruits. So if somebody is misbehaving, don't let them tell you, oh, I'm full of the Spirit. Are you crazy? Remember Mike Epps' tone of voice about them diamonds and all about the Benjamins? Yeah. You crazy? You can't, you're going to tell somebody that they're in the Spirit. You can't, but you possibly can't believe that. Look at him. Look at what he's doing. Look at what she's doing. That is not the Spirit. Okay? The Spirit is these words. You got to walk in these ways. That's the Spirit. Okay? So now, it says, and will not abide. Here's the thing. And will not abide when unrighteousness coming in. What is that? When you let evil thoughts enter into your mind, the Spirit of the Most High says, I got to go. If you don't want the Spirit of the Most High to have to go, don't let evil thoughts come into your mind. Verse 6, because this happened to Israel. This is where, remember, when we go back to Exodus chapter 16, that's not good for them. They're supposed to win into their kingdom. As a congregation, they all sinned. And they all got judged together. That was horrifying. And he gave them a death sentence. He said, I'm killing all of y'all. And this is the time frame in which you're going to die. They went into the wilderness. The Lord said, this is sin. Y'all sinners. I'm going to get you. I'm going to deal with y'all. All because of what they let enter into your mind, man. You don't let things enter into your mind and then you start spewing it out. Where is that? We ain't got to go get it, but Ecclesiastes. Suffer not thy heart to cause thy flesh to sin. You ever heard people say, don't let your mouth get you messed up? Okay, that's true. Don't let your mouth get you in trouble. Suffer not thy heart to cause thy flesh to sin. You let thoughts enter into your heart, man, then next thing you know, you saying stuff. You can't do that. You can't say anything. A lot of us, we don't have we let it ride and we like, okay, accept your apology and we try to come on one accord with you, but not the Most High. Ain't there the person in here that wouldn't have let Israel continue to pass on after the fact that they apologized to us? Because that's us by nature. We quick to forgive. The Most High didn't do that. How many times did they rebel against him after the spies came back and spied out the land? Because they did that, he's like, I'm done. He wanted to kill him, but Moses convinced him not to. So instead of killing him, they set that example. That example is in this Bible for a reason. They were supposed to have option number one. Go and take the land. Remember, one cluster of grapes, like you got a stem and grapes on it, it took 2 men to put it to put it up, host it up, and carry it back to the camp. Right now, the cluster of grapes look like M&Ms now in these days. But back then, it looked like melons. That's how fruitful and fertile and the blessing that the Most High gave to us. All we had to do was endure temptation. That's what the Lord is trying to tell each and every last one of you. All you got to do is endure temptation. And on the other side of temptation is the fruit of the Spirit, your blessing. But some of you, you're too busy getting caught up in temptation that you're going to never see it. You're messing up. You're messing up. Stop messing up, man. I don't care what temptation look like. Stop messing up. The blessing is beyond that. You got to be patient. You got to wait for it. It's there. It's there. I'm alive. You're not reading no book about me, man. I'm alive, and I'm telling you it's there. The Most High has helped me. I've made sacrifices and endured certain temptations and went beyond the temptation and found the blessing. I'm like, oh, okay. This is good. This is from the hand of the Lord right here. All praises. You can see me. You can touch me. You can feel me. You can hear me. I'm telling you it's real. If it wasn't so, I wouldn't tell you so. But you cannot get caught up on everything that the eye look upon, man. And because you can't do it, you get caught up in your feelings. You get caught up in your emotions and you become non-believing. And those things become a stumbling block. You're never going to see the blessings then. And then you're going to start thinking, is it real? How will you ever find out if you never make the sacrifice? Sacrificing does hurt because it's a withdrawal and a denial of worldly and ungodly lust, but it has to happen. I'm not professing or proclaiming to be anything or anybody special. I'm just trying to tell you that the Bible is real and true. And the Most High will keep his word. If you do the word. It don't matter if you're a man or woman. I'm nobody special. I'm just like you. It started off just like you. Babysitting children on the playground, man. Couldn't pay bills. $13 left. After I did pay the little playground check. Cash that and pay some bills. That's it. But I kept at it and I stayed true. And every time the Lord would reprove me, I would make the sacrifice, but I did not murmur. I did not complain. I did not I don't understand why this ain't fair. I ain't saying I walked in them shoes. I'm not like that. Nope. So that one there, you might have on your own. But I'm not experiencing that one there. Because I do not want to ever bite the hand that feeds me. That's the level of respect that I have. As far as that, I can just tell you it's real, it's true. He do pay out. And if your thoughts are without understanding, it ain't going to stay there long. Okay? Or when unrighteousness is coming in. So now with the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 6. Read that.
For wisdom is a loving spirit and will not acquit a blasphemer of his word.
Right. Loving spirit, he loves you. That means that he wants what in return? He wants you to love him back in return. Now, wisdom is what? Please say the word of the Lord.
The word of the Lord.
So if it loves you enough to correct you and show you the right way, the Most High wants you to love it back in return. He don't want you to despise the wisdom of the Lord. Because what type of people hate knowledge? Sinners and fools. Fools. Remember Proverbs 1, right? Fools hate knowledge. So you think the Most High is going to love a fool? He going to just, because we do that. We love fools. We could be dealing with somebody that's foolish. We're going to love their dirty draws. They're going to be dogging us out, playing us, lying to us, dragging us through the mud, deceiving us, doing the flea flick and misdirection. We can't catch them, this, that, and the other, abusing us. We foolishly loving them. Not the Most High. The Most High ain't like that. Because if you hate his knowledge, he's going to hate you. If you love his wisdom, which is his ways, which is his word, which is his laws, he's going to love you. Keep that in mind. Go ahead.
For God is witness of his reign.
He knows what you think. Go ahead.
And a true beholder of his heart.
He knows what you think and feel, how you feel for real, for real. How y'all say for real, for real? The Most High knows how you think for real. All right. Go ahead.
And a hearer of his tongue.
And a hearer of your tongue. What is your tongue saying? Something on how you really feel about something. How you really don't want to do this. You really don't want to do that. How you might think it's not necessary. How you might think, oh, it was for them back then. So who's dictating today's measuring stick? is supposed to be Christ. But by us saying by them back then we're letting the nations dictate the measuring stick on what's satisfactory and what's not. Go ahead.
For the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things have knowledge of the voice.
That means the Spirit of the Lord, that means that it's everywhere. It's in the bathroom. Some people will lock themselves in a room so that they don't be around others while they misbehave. God is there. He's right there in the room. Some people go into the bathroom because if you're in the bathroom, that's like the safe zone. Nobody gonna run in there after you into the bathroom. He's there. You in there mad because that'll make them stop knocking on the door, talking about, come on, you like, I'm using it. But you're in there with an attitude. I'm using it. But you're in there in your feelings. He's there. And he sees how you feel. His spirit fills the world. Where's that? I'm looking away. The Spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things, meaning he possesses everything, meaning all things is the people. He possessed all people. Did y'all know that all souls belong to the Lord? If you didn't know that, raise your hand so I can show you in the scriptures. You don't have to worry about being, I didn't know that. No, I'd rather show you. The devil has no control over your soul. The devil has no souls. Everything that you have belongs to the Most High. Everything that you are is of the Lord. Right. In verse 4, Ezekiel 18:4. So we're coming from Wisdom of Solomon 1:7. And that which containeth all things, he contains all things. A container is something that holds something. All things is everything. But this is not talking about a container, it's talking about the Father. He contains, he holds everything, and those all things are people. It's not talking about the pets that we have, and cars, and houses, and lands, and plants. No, it's talking about you, and me, and them.
This is Ezekiel chapter 18:4. Behold, all souls are mine.
I contain all things, is what God says. Repeat it again.
This is Ezekiel chapter 18:4. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine.
So Satan doesn't have any souls. I'm going to win soul back from Satan. No, he never had anything. The only thing he can do is seduce you to break the laws of the Most High. And then the Most High could, if he want, have Satan to just destroy you. Or another angel. All right? So let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1 in the latter part of verse 7.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1:7, second precept.
The latter part at the end.
Have knowledge of the voice.
He have knowledge of the voice. He have knowledge of the voice. That means the Lord has the ability. We could all start talking at the same time. And you know what he can do? Dissect all of these voices and hear the one that he wants to hear. He can turn you down like a television. And you will be mute. And he said, oh, that one right with me. That's what I want to hear. And she'll be talking. And even though we all talking at the same time, let's talk at the same time. Y'all just start saying something to anybody. Say how you doing to your neighbor. Go on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's say that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Down. Guess what? Well, in the spirit, he'll tune all of that out because he wants to hear Whitney. And he knows what she's saying. Raise your hand. Says, bam. He heard her. Through all of that noise, he heard it. Yeah. She can't, there's no way to get away from how we would be talking or hiding our voice. You can't do it. Even if it's under your breath. Or other people, we might not have heard what that other person was saying because of all the noise. I didn't get it all. Oh, he got it all. He got it all. That's how he is. When you realize that the Lord is bad like that, in a good way, good like that, you're going to watch what you think and what you say. That comes with experience, learning how you think and how you say. That comes with experience, but it comes with learning. That's why you have to be told all of this, so that you can learn how to rule your spirit and remember who you're dealing with. Because God is not a man. You can't do anything with him. You can't say anything. You can't even do anything with yourself. You got to have to rule yourself so that you can always walk upright. And I tell you, if you do that, all your dealings going to come to you right. You'll have success. You will be different than other people. You're going to shine. And people are going to be wondering, what is that glimmer about you? Or how do you get success? You'll be walking in success and haven't even realized it. You'll be winning. And other people lose it. Not that we want anybody to lose, but it's just the facts of life. You have haves and have-nots. You have losers and you have winners. What do you want to be? If you want to be a winner, keep his commandments. And this is part of walking in his ways. Following him, the Most High don't want you to follow him, but for real, you're a backstabber. You don't care about him for real. You don't love him for real. The Most High don't want you to be like that. He wants your spirit on fire. He wants it burning fervently. So that when you testify about him, others going to be able to see. And they're going to be able to get that from you. And they can also eat and feed off you. Okay? Let's finish it though. It's more.
Verse 8. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid.
See? So if you feel anything that's not right about the Lord, you can't be hid. You can't be hid. He knows how to separate the sheep from the goats. Okay? If you're a goat, you're going to buck up. If you're a sheep, you're going to follow suit. Go ahead.
Neither shall vengeance, when it punisheth, pass by him. For inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly, and the sound of his words shall come unto the Lord for the manifestation of his wicked deeds.
All of these things was happening in the congregation of Israel after they left out of Egypt. And the Most High was finna give them paradise. Do y'all not hear this? He was finna give them paradise. And all of this wickedness was going on. We don't want this type of wickedness. We don't want to be like this because there is a judgment for being like this. There's a judgment for even thinking crazy. Y'all not see that?
Yes, sir. Proverbs 24, right?
What does it say?
For all fools.
Yep. All right. I don't know. Proverbs 24:9.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 24 and 9. The thought of foolishness is sin.
Right. So the congregation thought like that. The thought of foolishness and sin. When they began to think all of this in their mind, they entered into the sin zone. And they hadn't even said anything yet. Yeah, they was already in sin. They hadn't even said anything. They was just thinking. That's why we got to get our thoughts together so that we're not sinning. And if anybody is thinking anything that's not right, you got to have to change it real fast. Because if you don't, then you're going to be in sin. The scriptures say lust, when it is conceived, it brings forth sin. It'll have you say what's on your mind. A lot of people, they can't hold back what's on their mind. They can't hold back what's in their heart. They have something on their heart, they got to say it. They got something in their mind, they got to say it. Nah. The thought of it is sin. So what do you think it's like once it comes out? Once it comes out, man, it can change a whole lot between you and somebody else. This is not above us. Y'all understand? This is not above you. Please do not think that this is too much for you. Like, who can go into his mind and change his thoughts? How do we do that? How do we go into our mind and change our thoughts? By the word of the Lord. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed. If you're learning and you're taking heed and you're paying attention, you're not letting the things that are you being taught slip. You're not letting those things slip. You're remembering those things. And then when you come into a little trouble, when you come into a problem, you start running all of those things that you've been taught. You start running those things right back up into your mind. You running those things through your mind. Therefore, cleansing those thoughts from wickedness. The Bible says, purge your heart from wickedness. You cleansing your heart from the wicked thoughts. And then those thoughts are going away. They're being washed away. Of course they will come, but they're being washed away by the word of the Lord. So don't think that this is above you. Oh, who could live like that? Remember, the young brothers out there like, man, ain't nobody out here doing that, this and that, this and that. Because the things that was said, he was like thinking that it's above him. Like, bro, this is not above us. These things are accomplishable. You mean to tell me when you leave her, you're going to get in your ride and you're going to be doing something totally different? Oh, man. Ain't like that. No, we don't do that because we behave. And when something come into our thought process, we cleanse it. Go to 2 Samuel 22. And 23.
This is 2 Samuel chapter 22 and 23. For all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them.
For all his judgments were before me. It's like a buffet. Imagine this. Everybody, use your imagination. You know what a buffet look like, right? Veggies, salad buffet for my vegan eaters. Megan buffet for my Megan eagers. Megans. Look at them brothers chopping it up. And you got a choice to choose from all the different things that are there. Right? He said, dessert? You got sweet tooth. You like dessert? For all his judgments were before me. This is exactly what he's saying. I'm trying to tell you, this is what he's saying. Okay? And as for his statutes, I didn't depart from them. Now go to Psalms 119, verse 30. Call it out.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and verse 30. I have chosen the way of truth.
You see? So when all of that stuff is in front of you, what did he say he did? What did he say he did? All of that stuff is in front of him. Let's see. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Let's put some stuff in front of us. Okay. Put a smorgasbord in front of us. Okay. Well, that's one thing in front of us. Let's name something else. It's another thing in front of us. You know, that's the end, right? Shall not covet. Okay. What else on this? What else is on the smorgasbord?
Yeah.
Well, what is covered? Okay, what else on that smorgasbord? It's gonna look good. All these righteous judgments.
Yes.
What else? We'll put that one together like that one, right? That's on the smorgasbord. What else? How about this? Oh yeah, look at all of that food. Oh man, that smorgasbord look good. You get put in a situation to where somebody say, where's my black pen at? Who was you talking to? Who you on the phone with? Uh-oh, I heard some sneakering. Who you on the phone with? Well, because you was teaching and you've been learning, you say, "I'll give me a scoop of that, thou should not lie. Give me a scoop of that." Because, and you might end up getting corrected. Is it better to get corrected or is it better to lie? Corrected. Okay. What else? We're sliding on down, going this way. Use me another color. We're going down the smorgasbord this way. Covet. We're going to stop right here. A man. You see another man with his woman. Woman looks good. She's fair. You just keep on looking. You say, you know what? Give me a dose of that. Give me a big scoop of that. Shall not covet. Because inside of your mind, what is it? What is the mind telling you to do? Through covetousness. Compliment that sister. Man, brother, she on somebody else's arm. You looking a little bit too long. So what do you need? You need you a scoop of thou should not covet. So you got to know all of this. You got to be able to put all this stuff into the mind. And so on and so forth. That's how you lay things out in front of you to keep you from breaking God's laws. So it's possible, but you got to learn his laws. You got to learn it, and you got to rehearse it. You can't just, you got to do it. You got to be fighting to do it all the time, not sometime. Oh, I'm giving in this moment, and in the next moment, oops, pew, the Most High gonna leave you. God does love us, but suffering is a part of this truth. Suffering is a part of this truth. Denying yourself of your desires is a part of this truth. You can't have fun and have it your way and enjoy yourself is a part of this truth, because you know what's burning off? Youthful lust. You going through a time frame while you in your youth. You ain't gonna always be young. But while you are young, the things that young people go after, you shall too. But when you become age, you're gonna look back and be like, you know what? I made some mistakes. I've learned from my experience. I know not to do that. Okay? But while you going through, it's gonna hurt like H-E-double-L. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna feel deprived. You're gonna feel like I missed out. You're not missing out, because you don't want the judgments that come from the Most High. It's the society that's around you that's feeding you the things that you need all of this for. Not to defile your temple. You see drug abuse and drug use all the time. So you don't want to somebody come around you with some drugs, with some fire, with some heat, some stuff that, whoo, they ain't seen, heard none of this in a long time. They offering you some purple. They got some purple stuff out here in the world. They offering you some purple. Like, you don't come across no purple. I always hear about that. Gas, grass, or cash. Nobody smokes for free. Now you got to turn into a freaky deep. All for the weed head. Some red. They got red too?
No.
When I grew up, they used to have some stuff called red hair sets.
I think Cali be having some red stuff.
Some red stuff. What else? What else they got? Got an undercover A little undercover up in her. I think Cali got some red stuff. Yeah, they got some lime green too. I'm looking at the markers, naming them. I'm testing them, right? You know, I'll be trying to know what they got some yellow. I'm like, they got some yellow too. Yeah, you know, they had some of that down the street. I'm like, dude, you know a little bit too much about this stuff. You know a little bit too much about this. No, man, that's the test, brother. You can't defile your temple messing with all of that stuff. You want some yellow? Go eat a banana, man.
Right.
Something red. What's red? Go get you an apple. Phew. What about the Sabbath day, man? Go this way. I forgot to do this. Now you got to bring up to your remembrance how you cannot do those things on the Sabbath. Anytime you don't have anything, come to the school anyway. It's enough of us. We're gonna put you a nice plate together. When you finish, trust me, you're gonna have something to eat and something to drink. So by the time the Sabbath is over, you go home, you got your food from home, or you go to the store, you get the stuff that you need. But don't be like, oh, I forgot, so now I'm finna run out to the store and get the cheese. Oh, I forgot the milk. The children ain't got the cereal. Well, ask somebody, do they have some milk? Or find the next thing, or ask, do you have extra this, that, and the third? All the teachings about everything that you're supposed to do, you're going to have to remember that. Now, we was at Psalms 119 and verse 30. Mm-hmm.
This is Psalm chapter 119 and 30. I have chosen the way of truth.
You see that? Stop right there. This is the choice. This is the choice. This ain't saying lip service. I chose lip service. No. This is saying I chose to apply the stuff that I was learning. I have chosen the way of truth. The last time, without a show of hands or anything, the last time you fell into temptation, did you choose the way of truth? What is the way of truth? The stuff that you was taught. It's not your truth. It's not your version. It's the thing that was taught to you coming out the scriptures. Thy law is the truth. These babies gonna find they must have woke each other up. Shit. Yo, get up. They having class. So I have chosen the way of truth. Go ahead.
Thy judgments have I laid before me.
Right there. You see, what God has determined to be good, he said, I put that in front of me. And I'm going to choose from that. Right, Nava? What did he do? He going to choose the way of truth. What Nabi, tell him, what did he say he did?
Something about how what
Something
God
about-
determined good for me.
Stop for a
I'm
second.
gonna do
Nah, not paying attention.
the judgments.
Okay, Obadiah.
He laid the judgment before him.
He laid the judgments before him. Pay attention. Pay attention. Go ahead. Verse 31.
Verse 31. I have stuck unto thy testimonies, O Lord. Put me not to shame.
All right. Go ahead.
I will run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart.
All right. That means to have the heart enlarged, it means to have filled the mind with the understanding of the commandments of the Most High because we have applied it. You don't get a good understanding when you don't apply it. You have to apply it. And everything that you apply, your understanding increases. So the more you apply, the more your understanding, your heart will be enlarged. And therefore, when you get in situations to where it has to be applied, you know to bring that very same thing up. Because no temptation goes away forever. It's only for a season. Then it's going to return. And it's going to try you to see what you're going to do, what you're made of. The more you hate sin, the less you will be tempted by it. Whatever your weakness is, that's what Satan is going to come through. If your weakness is drugs, Satan going to try and tempt you with drugs. If your weakness is money, Satan going to try and tempt you with money. If your weakness is a woman, Satan going to try and tempt you with a woman. If your weakness is a man, Satan going to try and tempt you with a man. If your weakness is lying, Satan going to try and make you think that you need to cover up something. It ain't no such thing as a white lie. Oh, I have no intentions on doing harm. This is a harmless little thing right here. This is small, so I'm not going to be 100% honest. No, you're not forthcoming. You lied. Satan will put you in a position to where you will be a lie. Therefore, transgressing the law of the Most High and losing trust and credibility. The only way that our hearts is going to be enlarged is if we keep the things that we are taught. Verse 33.
Teach me.
Teach me. Teach me. In order for you to get taught, you got to be put in a position to where it's something that you're going to learn. You got to endure the test. Blessed is the man that endures temptation. What is the blessing? You're going to be taught. Your mind, your spirit is going to be enlarged. So all these things that you go through, you got to stop murmuring about that. You got to stop complaining about that. Those things are put out there for you to learn by. That don't mean you're supposed to transgress the law behind it. You're supposed to endure. Even if you suffer affliction and pain, okay, that's typical. That ain't something that's new. It's something that's going to happen. You're supposed to avoid, by all means necessary, breaking that law of the Most High. Because you're trying to learn. You're asking the Lord to teach me. Teach me. Go ahead.
O Lord, the way of thy statute.
The way of the statute. Teach me how to walk in the statute. And he's going to do it. And sometimes it might take somebody saying something to you. So we're going to say something to you. You cannot learn without somebody saying something to you. And when we do say something to you, you cannot be like, oh, they always got something to say. Wait a second. I thought you wanted to learn. Which one is it? And then you'd be mad when we call you out on it. So do you want to learn or you don't want to learn? So that means they got to say something to you. So we got to say something to you. Then you think it's games. Now you think we're twisting you up. We're not twisting you up. We're just letting you see that this is the way. Okay? Go ahead.
And I shall keep it unto the end.
And we expect you to keep it unto the end. Go ahead.
Give me understanding, and I shall keep thy law.
Yeah, go ahead.
I shall observe it with my whole heart.
We expect to see the observance of it with the whole heart. Our forefathers didn't do that. Okay, so let's stop there. And go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1. Finish that, then we got Numbers.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon.
Chapter 1 and 11. Right?
And verse 11.
Right.
10.
10, go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 10. The ear of jealousy heareth all things, and the noise of murmurings is not hid.
Remember, we went through all those precepts to show you that when we're complaining about what's being done and what we don't want to do and how things are, the Most High hears it. Because that's what the Israelites did when they came out of Egypt, and that's how they missed the kingdom. Do everybody agree or disagree? Because we read it in the scriptures. Right. That's what happened. I'm showing you. And something as simple as the way that they feel caused them to miss out on the kingdom. Israel went into the kingdom. To them, it was like the kingdom of heaven without immortality. They went into the kingdom. They didn't have nobody over them. They were supposed to be the dominant world superpower. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 8. Deuteronomy chapter 8, and I'll read it. I'm going to start at verse 7. This is what they went into. The Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water. Do you not know that all the nations right now, wherever the sea coast is and all the water land, they take all that, and that's prime real estate. They don't give you anything like that now. They take all of that stuff for themselves. And that's why the first time when we go to something southern or warm states, first thing we want to do is we want to see the beach. We want to see the beautiful water. We want to see sights that we didn't see before. That's what the Most High gave to us. I did a class last year and showed us the land of Israel and the sea coast and the Euphrates River and the Jordan River. Do y'all remember that?
Yes,
I showed us the sceneries and all of that stuff. Yeah. But we don't have that. That's what God gave to us. It says, listen to it, please. And fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills. So there was water that was overflowing, fountains coming up, springs coming down, valleys and hills. A land of wheat. So these are different type of, all this was in the coast of Jerusalem that Israel missed out on because they decided to murmur. A land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees, pomegranates, and a land of oil, olive, and honey. So in other words, you had produce. There were flat lands and plain lands where you can farm and you had produce. A land wherein thou should eat bread without scarceness. I mean, nobody's gonna get hungry. Hundreds of thousands and possibly millions of Israelites migrate. What's supposed to migrate into here? Thou shalt not lack anything in it. A land whose stones are iron. So when you build, you don't have to worry about the stuff crumbling when you sit them one upon another. And out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass. Okay, what is brass for? It's a good electrical conduit and good for piping water. Our forefathers piped water. The so-called white man was not the first one to pipe water. Our kings been doing that, man. They taught them. They taught them how to pipe water. They didn't teach us. We think that they so bright and they so brilliant. No. It says, when thou hast eaten and are full, when thou shalt bless the Lord for the good land which he have given thee. So the Lord said, listen, man, all of this stuff, well, it's a little bit more. I'm going to jump down because I want to go back. Verse 12, it says, least when thou hast eaten and are full and hast built goodly houses and dwell therein, so we will be able to build houses. And while I'm reading this, find the other one where there was spots that we didn't have to build. Back up while we're at the houses, back up to 6. And verse 10. Read that.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 6 and 10. And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land which he swore unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou buildest not, and houses full of all good things, which thou fillest not.
You see that? So there were cities that was built up inside of the land of Jerusalem that we didn't have to build. There would be structures that was on the land already that we could use, and houses, buildings, houses full of good stuff that was still usable, which we didn't feel. You go into a house and it's already furnished. Stuff that was good. Okay? Wells that had our springs and fountains with in the valleys and hills that we didn't have to dig. All right, so let's go back. So Deuteronomy chapter 8. So that shows you the houses that this is what they was supposed to go into. Verse 14. So Deuteronomy 8 and 14. Then thy heart be lifted up. No, verse 13. Deuteronomy 8 and 13. And when thy herds and flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied. So it shows you that they would have food source. They had the vegetables, they had the fruit, they had the meat. They didn't have no other nation to govern over, and they went into the kingdom, man. They had gold, brass, iron for stones, gold. They could make their own jewelry. They could have their own silver. They could create their own money source. But what stopped them from having all of this? Murmuring. The way that they felt about the Lord. Don't do that. Don't make that mistake. Sacrifice whatever you got to sacrifice. You're going to have to render this life gone lost. You can't have the pleasure because this deceit is going to get you caught up. I'm telling you. These people that went into the wilderness, they had to keep every law Moses brought out. And they didn't get to go into the land. How would you like that? To have to keep every law that's coming out and you still don't get to, and you still don't inherit. Don't play around. The Most High didn't call you. Don't run this race in vain for nothing. So that gold is multiplied and all that thou hast is multiplied. Come on. Just wanted to show us that. Go back to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1. Because the Lord knows our people being in sin, that was a sin to do that. And you can't be like, because other people do that, I can do it. If you see somebody rebellious, hey, there's the trouble. Go to Ecclesiasticus. Chapter 5. About the one stiff neck, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, one per the bottom.
16 and
16 and 11.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 16 and 11.
Hold up, let him get it. Ecclesiastes 16 and 11.
And if there be one stiff neck among the people, it is marvel if he escape unpunished.
Oh, wait a second. No. We have to go up. Go to verse 6.
This is Ecclesiasticus
We're in St. Louis,
16
Missouri, brother.
and verse
Boxwood.
6.
Listen to it. Ecclesiasticus 16 and verse 6.
And the congregation of the ungodly shall be a fire bekindled. In a rebellious nation, wrath is set on fire.
Right. It have been set. Go ahead.
He was not pacified toward the old giants who fell away in the strength of their foolishness.
In other words, the Lord didn't care because these guys were men of renown. They looked good, etc., etc. He didn't care about that. They seemed to be robust and strong and championed among people. The Lord didn't care about that. Go ahead.
Neither spared he the place where Lot sojourned, but abhorred them for their
He
pride.
hated them for pride because they were in pride. Go ahead.
He pitied not the people of perdition who were taken away in their sin.
I believe this is who he's talking about, the same ones that we're talking about now. He didn't pity them because they were taken in the sin of murmuring. Go ahead.
Nor the 600,000 footmen who were gathered together in the hardness of their heart.
You see, who was gathered together in the hardness of their heart. Go ahead.
If there be one stiff-necked among the people, it is marvel if he escape unpunished.
Exactly. Let me make sure. Let me see something. Bear with me. Yeah, these are the ones that we're talking about. Nor the 600,000 footmen who were gathered together in the hardness of their hearts. When you go to Numbers, the first chapter, and it was called the wilderness of Sinai, but it says sin when we was reading. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do the counting, but these are the ones. So the point is, it says, if there be one stiff-necked among the people, it is marvel if he escape. So the Lord is not letting anybody, escape his wrath. Nobody could murmur and talk and have ill feelings about what they're supposed to do and then get away with it. All right, so let's go back. Where was we at before Ecclesiastes 15?
Deuteronomy 8.
So we're done with that. Wisdom of Solomon 1.
This is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 11. Therefore beware of murmuring, which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting.
Why is he telling us to beware of murmuring?
That's what God is going to judge.
Right. That's what got them judged. And they end up losing what? They end up, right. They lost their salvation. Okay. So beware of murmuring, which is unprofitable. Go ahead.
And refrain your tongue from backbiting.
And refrain your tongue from backbiting. Remember, who did they backbite to? Moses and Aaron, the leaders of the people. You cannot, that's a sin. You cannot backbite to the leaders of the people. If you do, the Most High is going to get you. It's a law. Exodus 22. The Lord tell you not to do that. He told them not to do that. What is it?
So is it murmuring if you got like a coworker, he's harassing you, and you go out and you end up saying some stuff?
Let's just stick with right here in this order. A coworker, you saying something. If somebody at work that's not acting right with you, you're supposed to correct them. There's no need to voice your opinion to yourself or to other people. Okay? But what will get us banished, what got Israel banished, was murmuring and backbiting against Moses and Aaron. Let's find it for them while we hold Exodus chapter 22. Where did they?
Like when they chose with Moses.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers 20. Numbers 20. Okay.
Oh, I want where they just come out. You,
What we just did with?
yeah.
What's the Numbers 40.
It's in the beginning of the chapter. Numbers 14 and verses 1 and 2.
This is Numbers chapter 14 and verse 1. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in this land of Egypt, or would God we had died in this wilderness?
Right. So they were complaining, they were fearful, and they took their murmurings and backbiting and their griefs against Moses and against Aaron. Remember, this is the part where Joshua and Caleb stepped up to them, and they began to talk to them. Remember, read down to verse 6. Go down to verse 6.
Verse 6. And Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes.
Go ahead.
And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying.
Exactly. So we went through this. Remember what made Joshua and Caleb talk to them, if y'all remember. Because Joshua and Caleb was part of the company, but they were just brothers like the rest of everybody else. They didn't have that fame They didn't have that fame that Aaron and Moses had yet. So they was part of the peers. But the leadership of Israel, Aaron and Moses, or Moses and Aaron, that's who they was murmuring against. And we get a lot of that in Israel when leaders teach you and tell you this is what you got to do, this is what you don't got to do, and then you start murmuring about it, and then in your mind you want to rearrange how you're supposed to do something and how you're not supposed to do something. That's backbiting and that's murmuring. And that can get you in trouble. So the law pertaining to that, speaking evil and backbiting, is Exodus 22 and verse 28.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 28. Thou shalt not revile the gods.
Right. Thou shalt not revile the gods. Okay. Now, what is a God? Is it saying the Most High God? No. We're gods under the Most High. We're judges under the Most High. So you cannot revile the gods, meaning the judges. All right. You're not to murmur. If you have the precept Bible, it tells you what gods mean. It means judges. You're not to talk back. You're not to murmur, backbite, talk behind our back. You can't do none of those things. That shut up the kingdom for Israel. The Lord doesn't change. You can't do it. Go ahead.
Nor curse the ruler of thy people.
Nor you cannot curse the rulers. You want bad things to happen. Don't wish success. Don't be fond of. But that's not my favorite person. You can't do that. You can't just say anything to us. You can't behave like that. You're going to get stopped in your tracks by the Lord. And to show you that it's still not tolerated, go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Brothers and sisters are not to get together and agree on this is what they doing. This is how they bringing it out. This is what they talking about. You are reviling the gods. This is this, that, and the third. You can't do that. You in shark territory. You're going to get bit by one. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Read that.
This is 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God?
Go ahead.
Be not deceived.
So we teach about all of this. Go ahead.
Neither fornicators.
I know you get tired of hearing that, but that's to help you to keep your clothes on. Neither fornicators. Because if we don't remind you, who's going to remind you? The other person that's mirroring your behavior ain't going to tell you to keep your pants on or your dress up, down. Ain't going to tell you to do that. They're going to go into that act with you. Go ahead.
Nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
Go ahead.
Nor thieves.
Go ahead.
Nor covetous.
Come on.
Nor drunkards.
Here it is. Go ahead.
Nor revilers.
Nor revilers. You always getting into it with the elder. You're going to fall short. With the judge, with the ruler, with the God, with the judge. You, sis, you, brother, you're going to fall short. Because you see them as you see a toy. or a child or a common brother. In the eyesight of the Lord, they're not just common men. They his judges, they his rulers. And the rule that they have is coming out the scriptures. So when you keep doing that, you're shutting up the kingdom on yourself. You could be not doing all these other things, but when it comes to them, you revile them. The Lord gonna judge you. If you didn't know that you was doing this, now you know. Now you gotta do what? Now you gotta use what you learn to overcome your mind frame. Because if you don't rule your spirit, it's gonna cost you like it cost our forefathers. And they went into the wilderness instead of into the land. Okay? So go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1.
This is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and 11. Therefore, beware of murmuring.
Because it is, beware of murmurings. So you had to learn this. Say, for instance, you didn't know. Now you know. Once you learn it, the Bible says in the times of this ignorance, God will wink at. Remember, even Christ said if sins against him, if you blaspheme against him, he can forgive you that. Why would somebody blaspheme against Christ? Through ignorance. Yeah, through ignorance. All right, through ignorance. Go ahead.
Which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting. For there is no word so secret that shall go for naught.
It ain't one word that we say that's going to be secret, that's going to be let go. Do we know that? Everything that you say, you're going to have to be justified in saying it, or you're going to have to give an account of. Everything. So what do? We humble ourselves to accept the scriptures and don't feel no type of way about the people that deliver the mail to us, which is the message. Knowing that this thing is of the Lord and it's not a man. Go ahead.
That shall go for naught, and the mouth that belieth slayeth the soul.
Right. What does belieth means? Slander. Slander. It's very easy to slander. Oh, yeah, his brother don't like me. His sister don't like me. They don't like me. Why are you saying that? Nobody never said that to you, brother. Your brother don't like you. The sister never said she don't like you. But you slandering. It says, seek not death in the what? Error. That's the next verse. Verse 12. Seek not death in your mistake. Your simple mistake can get you judged. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't know. I didn't understand. God knows that. But if you're not trying to learn, then you're still going to make that error, and then you're going to get judged. And it says, of your life, in the error of your life. And pour not upon yourselves destruction with the work of your own hands. Go back to Numbers. No. Exodus 16. I'm sorry. Exodus chapter 16. But about Trump, all people are going to be paid back. Nobody's going to get away with it. We don't even got to discuss him. We're working on our people. The Lord is trying to get us together so that we can learn how to walk in his spirit and not in the flesh. Numbers chapter 16. Exodus chapter 16, I'm sorry. Exodus chapter 16 and now verse 2 again.
This is Exodus chapter 16 and verse 2. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we have died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger.
What does that sound like? Think about this instead of having you guess it. At one point, at this point, they seem to already know that they're not going into the land. So instead of being remorseful, they're doing it again. Why? Because they're hungry. Does it sound like you? When things are messed up, you say, forget it. It's already messed up. And then you go further into the wrong. Anybody ever did that? You say, oh, this is messed up already. You go further into the wrong. Or you be angry or upset about something. And then instead of recovering yourself, you let rage set in. And then you start doing more hurtful things. Or you start saying more hurtful things. This is exactly what they said. They already added insult to injury. They was already injured and they insulted their own self by complaining some more. We can't do that. You in trouble with the Lord, the Most High judge you with something, or somebody, you think that we judge you, the judges judge you. But actually, we just use the scriptures and read it to you, and you have to walk in it. So you get a judgment, now you have to walk in it, and then you say, well, forget it then. They judged me, they said the scripture said this, they said the third. And you say, oh, forget it, trying to do the right thing, and then you go do more things that are wrong. Because you feel like, oh, I have no hope. Nobody believes in me. So then you don't deal right. You're supposed to believe in yourself. You're supposed to tell yourself that, hey, I did this thing. Now it's time for me to repent. And now let me get myself together and let me not do it again. They did the exact same thing again. Murmuring. This got to hit home with somebody. Because I've heard it plenty. I can't even say a dozen times. I heard it more than that. Hundreds, thousands of times I've heard this. You mess up, scriptures come out, you hurt offended by the scriptures or by the correction or whatever. Judgment, you can't do this. And you say, forget it then. I got nothing else. And you start spewing out madness. Some get suicidal. I don't want to live then. Now you got to talk you back off the ledge. Because I know you don't really want to die. Because I don't want to see you die. Because in the spirit world, it's pain. That's not a good place for you. If you couldn't make it in the flesh, when you get there, you can't come back here. It's done. Go to the book of Luke. Luke chapter 16. All right. Luke chapter 16 and get to the point, verse 23. So this is a rich guy. Let's just put it on the rich guy. This is the guy. And let's say Matthew chapter 16.
This is Luke chapter 16 and 23. And in hell he lift up his eyes.
So that's Matthew 19 and 16. So the rich guy dies. And he end up in hell. He dies. Go ahead.
Being in torments.
And he's in what? He's in torments. So there's no way to get out of those torments. So people that's wanting to commit suicide, people, I don't want to live there if I got to live this type of life. And most of the time it might be the judgment, the saying, according to scriptures, you got to be alone then. Don't commit whoredom and nobody will tell you you got to be alone. Don't do it. All right. So now you don't want to live no more. Now you give up. Oh, I'm just going to give up then. Forget it. You Israelites are all the same. This, that, and the third. Now you reviling to God. Now you're going to be in trouble for that. You murmuring, yada, 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 yada. This brother's this, that brother's that, yada, yada. See, you adding insult to injury to yourself and don't even know it. When we got to learn to listen the first time. When we listen the first time, we won't end up in trouble. But, so now you're in hell. Go ahead.
And seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom.
Right. Now, in the spirit world, you see Lazarus. The Lord shows you in Lazarus in the part in the spirit world to where ain't nobody being tormented. They're in paradise, like where Yahushua said the sinner on the cross will be with him. But it doesn't work out too good for you because you didn't listen when you was in the flesh. Go ahead.
And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented.
Right. So we can stop. The point is, there's torment. It ain't what we think. Oh, I'm gonna represent myself in person now. No, you don't get the opportunity that you think. The opportunity to represent yourself is now. Now you're at work. So you better work it. You better work it and you better do it good so that when you do lay down, your works follow. And they're going to speak for you. And they're going to be screaming and pleading, Lord, be merciful and graceful for me. I exhausted every avenue with trying to do the right thing. And you need those works to be actually saying that. I learned to do well. I repented. I did this. I did that. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. You don't need to say a word. You need your actions to be a description of your life. I hope you are paying attention because the Most High is giving you the keys to success. He's actually using me to tell you how you need to be. Because your gift of gab, it ain't worth nothing to him because he gave you the tongue to speak to. And he already knows the deceit. He's smart. That's why he is the Most High Judge. He usurps over all of us. So you won't be able to convince him that evil is good. All right. So now let's lose that. And we was back at Exodus, right? Okay.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 16.
And verse
7
now. 4 now, because in the third verse, they was like, you're going to kill us with hunger.
This is Exodus chapter 16 and verse 4. Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily.
So what is he teaching them? What does it sound like?
Prepare for the Sabbath.
Right. Say it nice and loud.
Prepare for the Sabbath.
Like you brown and you proud. You're just preparing for the Sabbath day. But let's get even further deeper. Why teach some people that you finna destroy? Huh? Okay, say it again.
So they can teach the children.
So they can teach the children, even though they're gonna be destroyed. But what domino effect is that gonna happen?
Children will teach their children.
There you go. Okay, the children gonna teach their children. You see? So he still got to get something out of them, even though they're gonna not enjoy the pleasures of the kingdom of Israel. Don't work in vain. Teach your children and you ain't got nothing profitable coming for you. And your whole objective is to teach your children so that they can teach their children. But your walk don't get rewarded. I know this ain't what we want to hear. Let's not let these shoes fit us. Why don't we all make sure that we are fervent and walking in the spirit of the Most High so that we profit and our children profit? Everybody understand? Okay. I ain't trying to make it so hard that we can't hear and listen to this, because I know some of you scared in them seats. But you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to amend your ways. And you better do it fast and soon, and have done it yesterday, and set your heart aright. Because what we're reading about, this one here don't play. Let's go.
Verse 6, And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, At evening, then ye shall know that the Lord hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning, then ye shall see the glory of the Lord. For that he heard your murmurings against the Lord. And what are we that ye murmur against
You
us?
see, so it was like, why are you tripping with me? What did I do? It sounds like me trying to ask a young brother out there, oh, man, what the problem? What did I do to you? He was so heated at me, he started complaining and telling me what was he calling y'all?
Members.
Yeah. Because he said in your members, a Bunyan and Obadiah was driving him crazy, trying to get him to stop talking to Shy and to listen to what I was saying. And I kept telling him, I said, okay, just let him be. Just let him be. And I kept telling the young man, I kept saying, yo, man, I'm actually trying to talk to you. Let's talk to me. Because he was trying to talk to Shy. And the reason why I didn't want him talking to Shy, because Shy got a young mind. He trying to spew some Scientology madness. And I'm like, Shy's a young mind. Don't talk to him. Sometimes people, Satan, gravitate to him because he'll listen. And I'd be like, yo. And sometimes I have to say, that's my son. Do not talk to him. That be the reason why, because I know. See, we deal with spirits when we out there. Y'all see people, but I see spirits. Spirits. Y'all see people, I see spirits. They have these agendas. They're trying to sow seeds. They're trying to make you to cast doubt. And because they doubt. And because they doubt, they're trying to make somebody else see something what they see. So they'll go to the young mind who will think optimistic and say, what? What you say? Just like Satan did Eve. They'll do that. So I distinctly in the beginning tried to tell him, but I'm speaking all the time. I'm like, yo, Don't talk to him. Come here, talk to me, man. And his friend told him, oh, he don't want you talking to him. But he didn't listen to me, neither did he listen to the friend, and he kept talking. So then, by my attempt to continue to say something to him, Bunyan and Obadiah spent the whole time trying to get that dude to turn around, to that agitated him. And Shai said that he began to worry because the guy was getting agitated over there, like he was like finna be about something. And I was like, tell him, Shai, no, you don't have to worry about that. The Most High got us. I wasn't worried about his stress. I wasn't worried about any of that. But your mind don't really understand that. That's how Israel do. When you go to Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, the Lord say, don't fear them. I make your face harder than their face. You know, he had his hand in his bag and, people got killed up here. This, that, and the third. Okay. Some other dudes would have been telling him cross the line. Some other dudes would have been like, dude, this, that, and the third. I didn't even do none of that because I really care about the spots that we teach in. I ain't really trying to blow them up or none of those things. So I just kept the composure, kept myself ready and prepared. And I was like, yo, we don't want this. Check this out, brother. What did I do? When Satan was really just aiming right at me, like they aimed, like he had the congregation to come after Moses and Aaron, when I am not the person that did any of those things to him. All right. So it gets crazy. And they were so, when we read the scriptures, Moses like, well, why are you after me and Aaron? What did we do to you? You don't have to do nothing to anybody. Satan be directing the hearts of these people on who he want to target and who he want to ruffle. Do not fear these people. Do not fear them. The Lord said, I made your face hard against their face. I wouldn't have feared that boy. I didn't fear him at one time. He would have actually hurt himself messing with me. He actually would have. And I would have hated to see that. So I didn't want to be on the other end of that. So opposed to that, I just tried reason with him and say, yo, what should be? Oh, because you didn't listen, this, that, and the third. In all actuality, the scriptures made him seem like a fool. That's what it did. Because the purpose of us going out there was laws. I stepped up, so I teach the laws. We out here, you don't do this, don't do that. He's like, oh, so now you calling me stupid. Well, it is dumb as hell. I'm another person that look like you, and you saying that you want to kill me because I'm not listening to you. Typically, when somebody not listening to you, you walk away. Why ain't you walked away? You see, so he was agitated over his own thing. You don't get mad because ain't nobody listening to you. I don't have to listen to you. This platform is the platform of the Lord. We teach the laws. We don't allow you to come up here and teach a strange doctrine. If you do not believe, you do not have to be here. There are no handcuffs. We're not policemen. If you do believe, this is for people that believe. So, where we stop?
Verse 8.
And Moses said, this shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, for that the Lord heard your murmurings which ye murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. And Moses spake unto Aaron, say unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before the Lord, for he had heard your murmurings.
Right. So do we realize that when you start speaking with your murmurings about the person that told you what to do and what not to do, that you're speaking against the Most High? You don't realize that, but it is. And we be so thinking that, oh, I'm going off on this person. Or you the person that got me, they have me feeling like this. And in your mind, you feel that, okay, you have separated the two between you and them and the Most High. I'm with you. But what you don't understand is that person is only talking to you about thus says the Lord. Therefore, the Most High takes it personal. Do we understand what I just said? Because if you say yes, I'm going to ask you to repeat it. Do you understand what was just said? Okay. You have a disagreement, or you have a disagreement about something. And you say something to somebody that told you, thus says the Lord, right? You say something to them, you feel all the way teed off. I mean, you ready to going off on them. You're talking to them reckless, right? You're talking to them reckless. You have no brakes. You have no filter. I mean, you kind of going off. You mad, right? What was they talking to you about? Say, thus says the Lord. They was talking to you about thus says the Lord. Now, when they tell you that you have walked away from the Lord and that's not dealing with the Lord, you feel that your anger is with them. Therefore, you are refusing to accept that anger towards God. You're like, I ain't got no problem with the Most High. I ain't got no problem with the scriptures. My problem is with who? Say you. You think that your problems are with the person, but the way that the Lord is wired in his mind, the way that he thinks and feels that your problem is with him and not the individual that you going out on recklessly. Because he sent that person to tell you what? Say, thus says the Lord.
Thus says the Lord.
That's right. And you got a problem with them because they said what?
Thus says the Lord.
Therefore, the Lord, your problem is with him. Now you see the person that you just cussed out. And in your mind, your grievance is with him. But God's grievance is with you. And the person that you went off on don't fear you. They are grieved that you dealt with them like that. And they don't like it. And they're trying to tell you, like, wait a second, I don't mean no harm. It's not like that. But what can they do? They can't control you. So God is going to step over them and deal with you. All the time in your mind, I don't have no problem with the scriptures. I just got a problem with how you said this, and you accuse me of that, and you think this, and you this. All that behavior is going to get you judged by God. And you know where he's going to go to judge you? To his curses. He's going to hit you where you want it or where you don't want it. He's going to go to the curses. And that's where he's going to start looking up. So we got to be careful with that. Because we never know and understand that the Most High is the one that's taking that thing personally. You always think this is pointed towards you. This is for you. I'm cool with the Most High. The Most High is cool with me. And we be deceiving ourselves. See? The Most High is in line with the people that he sent to you. You have to get in line with them and leave yourself and your ways behind. Okay? So now, back to Exodus chapter 16, and now verse 10. Verse 10.
And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness. And behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, At even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread. And ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp. And in the morning the dew lay round about the host.
Now, so what just happened? The Lord blessed them. So in the midst of judging them, he still blessed them with the food because they was hungry. They still had to continue, and they still had to
follow the example, and they still had to learn because they had to teach. Okay, verse 14.
And when the dew that lay was going up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna. For they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat.
So what is manna meaning? What is this? It's like, what is this? And they didn't know what it was. So Moses had to tell them, this is what the Lord gave to you to eat. This is the bread he gave to you. Okay, so it dried in the form of a paste or a cracker or something. Okay, so now remember, in the midst of their rebellion, etc., he still had to correct them. He still had to help them. He had to provide for them, and he still had to teach them. And they're being taught now. Go ahead.
This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, and omer for every man. According to the number of your persons, take ye every man for them which are in his tents.
So an omer is like a handful. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more and some less. And when they did meet with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating.
I'm sorry, not a handful, but it was based upon how much you can eat. Okay, so get that back to them. How much you can eat. Go ahead.
And Moses said, Let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning. And it bred worms and stank. And Moses was wroth with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, This is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord.
So now remember, now he's teaching them about the Sabbath day. And he says, hey, remember tomorrow you must rest. So on the 6th day, Israel, you must prepare so that on the 7th day, everything that you typically would be doing would come to a rest. You don't make you don't make plans on the Sabbath. Oh, I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna do that, and I got this appointment, and somebody. No, you can't do it. That's a sin. That's breaking the Lord's laws pertaining to the Sabbath day. Go ahead.
Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept unto the morning.
So at that time, so we're doing actually probably a couple different meals. Think about it, right? We're doing 3 meals. When they doing how many meals? They doing 1. So whatever they boiling or baking, they eating that the next day. Yeah. So they had quail as a bird. They had baked quail with pasta noodles, and rice and bread, or greens and bread. They woke up the next day, and when they got hungry, they ate that again. Unlike us, what are we doing? What do we call it? Sabbath shopping. We breaking ourselves, man. Yes. We breaking ourselves. We must be rich. Well, it's been like it. I used to fight this thing for years. I'd be like, why is it we need to spend all this money on the Sabbath?
You go to the store, you buy all of this stuff. You gotta buy lunch, you gotta buy breakfast. Then you got to buy these drinks. Then you got to buy this lunch, included in our Scooby snack. And this thing come around hunting every week. Every week it come around. When what you're reading in the scriptures is that the food that they had for dinner the night before, they left that out and it didn't spoil. So those of you that, now check this out. Those of you that have nursing babies and you feel that you're going to have to, I'm going to have to, warm my baby's bottles and stuff like that? No, you do not. I got to keep it in the refrigerator. It's going to spoil. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because the spirit is in it. How do I know? I got children. I raise them from a baby. In the truth now, raise them for the baby. Left them bottles out. When they got hungry, boop, pop it right in. They ain't know it wasn't microwaved or ran up under the water or boiled in the, some of you boil it in the pot of water. Then shake it up and let it squirt out on your wrist to see the temperature of it, all of that. So you ain't got to do none of that. Let it sit out. The child gonna get used to it. That's the scriptures. It ain't gonna spoil. But faithless. That's what it is. You got no faith. It's gonna end up breaking the laws. Brothers, you must have a woman that's gonna apply the scriptures. Not get into a situation and now she's like, but I gotta do it. And she's thinking that, oh, the baby, he ain't gonna like it or she ain't gonna like it or whatever. Don't get into that. Let it sit out. It's gonna be fine. Give it to him. He's gonna drink it or she's gonna drink it. And what happens if they don't drink it? Somebody, the water, what happens if they don't drink it? You been through it?
The milk,
What happens if they don't drink it?
it's gonna be there until they want it.
It's gonna be there till they want it. They ain't hungry enough. Once they get hungry enough, they're gonna knock it down and then burp on their own. Yep. Children will try and be finicky. Oh, they wanted it at temperature. Oh, okay. You ain't hungry enough. They want that heat. So I know you got to put it on their mouth. Come on, drink it, drink it. After a while, they're gonna take it. Say, oh, they're gonna take it. What is it?
Okay, so nowadays, we got the bottled water. Won't that suffice, like just room temperature bottled water?
Yes.
To avoid all that extra stuff.
Mhm.
Heat, hot water, all that. Because you said, like, if it's already made, you can put it in the refrigerator. I know a lot of people, they'll have like the little formulas and then just the bottled water. Just water, right?
Yeah. You can use bottled water, mix up your stuff, give it to them.
Because it already had that little warmth to it, right? That's what I'm just thinking.
Yeah, but even more, breastfeed. That's the healthiest, strongest thing.
Yeah.
Breastfeed.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got instruments to extract milk. You know what I'm saying? To extract the milk. And then those are the ones that you can leave out. Okay. I ain't saying don't refrigerate it if you don't want to, but I'm saying this ain't nothing gonna be wrong with it. That's what I'm saying, you know. So, all right. So Israel had an issue with this. We cannot let that be an issue with us. We have these problems with keeping the Sabbath day and stuff like that. I know there are people that have jobs on the Sabbath day. You know what you should do if you have a job on the Sabbath day? Look for one that don't work you on the Sabbath day. That's what you should do. Because the Sabbath is a sign between us and the Most High. You think the Most High cared about the Egyptians once he told Israel to come and serve him? And nah, he didn't care about their jobs. He's like, wait a second, these people want to go back. Well, I got some work to do. I can remember I was building this. What? You was doing what? Yeah, I was building something in there. All right. So we have to go through stuff like this because if not, Israel will forget it, or Israel will take a break, or you may think that you can do it and get away with it. So Exodus chapter 16 and verse 25. Did you stop there?
24.
24, go ahead.
And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein.
Right, that is the leap of faith right there. Things that you normally would leave out. You say, hey, if I leave this out, it's going to go bad. That's the leap of faith. I can remember once I read this long time ago. I just did it. Said, okay, just leave it out. I'm totally real, leave it out. It ain't going to go bad. The scripture said it ain't going to go bad. So she left it out. Took a chance. But on the normal, all the other days, remember, the same thing went bad. Let's go back and show you. The same thing went bad all the other days. Verse 20. Verse 19.
Verse 19. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning.
Meaning don't leave it out. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses.
So they didn't listen. They didn't get rid of it. They didn't protect it. Go ahead.
But some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank.
So now you tell me that's not a leap of faith. Day 6, day 1 through 6, you got to get rid of it. You can't even have it. You cannot leave it out. Whatever. And if you do, it's going to stink and breed worms. And then one day different, the 7th day, the Lord said, okay, now you can leave of it until the morning. And it ain't gonna stink or breed worms. Tell me that's not a leap of faith. Why isn't it doing that? Messing up? Because it's a spirit. Everything that we do, the spirit is associated with the instructions behind it. The Lord is overseeing his instructions. He's telling you. Okay? He's telling you what to do and telling you what not to do. And he's being with you and whatever he's instructing you to do. Go ahead. Let's go back to
verse 25. And Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today ye shall not find it in the field.
Today you shall not find it in the field. Don't even go out there looking. So brothers, if you miss something, don't go out in the field looking for it. That's in the streets. Sisters, don't go shopping to the store looking for stuff. Oh, I didn't get my Coca-Cola. You can't do that. You can't do that. All right? Don't go shopping looking for anything in the field. Go ahead.
6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none.
So now, check this out. What if you got a garden? Now I'm going to open up a can of worms here. What if you have a garden? And you didn't get it on the 6th day? Should you go out there on the Sabbath day to get it? You still shouldn't.
Right.
Because of this, you still shouldn't. That's different from the apostles when they were walking. Yeah, I know it, but you don't break a leg. Come out there with a broken leg. What's the difference? The circumstance. You didn't prepare. You didn't prepare. And now you going out is one thing. The other thing is you're on a journey and you see something and you grab to eat it because of being hungry. That's something totally different. And I know that you at home and you're hungry, but you already know that these instructions is there for while you at home. So you're supposed to have prepared yourself. All right? What is it?
Just a quick example. Do you all remember when we was in Brooklyn, Illinois? Right. It was the Sabbath. But at home, we already had, or back at the sanctuary, we already had food bought and ready in preparation to eat when we show back up, right? So that's this right here, what we had at home or what we got on the 6th day. But while we was out and we was hungry. And what did we come across, if anybody remember? A pear tree. It wasn't ours. We didn't plant it. We didn't labor to plant it, like the brother said, a garden in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? It was a pear tree that was grown up. It's like the Most High allowed to grow in that certain spot. And we picked, you know what I'm saying, to have and to eat off of at that time. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. Like that's the difference with the example that she was thinking about. You know, just like the disciples, that justified us in that case. But in this case, we won't be justified that we had something that we labored and toiled over and grew in our own gates or whatever. And now we want to say, well, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna pick something. We'll be breaking this out.
Matthew 12. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 1. At that time, Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus, went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. So walking through a field, they took a cut, and the cut happened to be through a cornfield. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. So what are they referring to? The story that we're talking about. And he entered into the house of God. Slakia. Verse 3. Slakia means sorry. But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was a hungered, and how that they that were with him, how he entered into the house of God and did eat the shewbread, which is not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests? Or have you not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But if you had known what that meaneth, I would have mercy and not sacrifice, meaning not destroy you. You would not have condemned the guiltless, for the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. So Christ is teaching the Pharisees that he knows right from wrong. A lot of times somebody might step to somebody of authority and try and rebuke them as if they don't know what's right and what's wrong. Like, where do you get that from? You're gonna all correct the person that's over you in the Lord as if they don't have acknowledgement of what's right and what's wrong. So he had to tell them that he's Lord of the Sabbath, meaning he knows what's right and what's wrong upon the Sabbath day. So what did they do? Did they do that out of necessity or out of slothfulness? They did it out of a necessity. Okay. So he continues on and he says, and when he was departed, thence he went into the synagogue, and behold, there was a man which had his hand withered, and he asked him, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? So they still at it, that they might accuse him. And he said unto them, what man should there be among you that shall have one sheep, if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day? Will he not lay hold on it to lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath day. Because now they will be carrying a burden upon the Sabbath day. If the sheep falls down, what if the sheep is injured? Now they got to carry the sheep from where they at into the barn house to splint the leg up and do this, this, that, and the third. Now they have stepped right outside of carrying a burden and things like that upon the Sabbath day. All right. So two different things. So don't go into the field to find it. You got to go out and, hey, just leave it. For some reason, the reason that we're saying in the scriptures, what we're saying, because the Most High made the manna bread to come down, and Moses told Israel not to go out and get it. So I'm not seeing a difference, not yet, of us having a garden and them having manna bread, to them having to go get it to eat, to us having to intentionally step out there to eat, opposed to us in travel and us having the necessity to grab something and we're passing through something. So I know it might seem like it's small, but let the difference in the scriptures be the difference in the scriptures and not the difference between you and I. All right. So back to Exodus chapter 16 and 27. Because in 26 it says it's not supposed to be any. You're not supposed to find anything. Go ahead, 27 now.
Exodus 16 and 27. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the seventh day for to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws?
You ever been out on the Sabbath day looking for something and you didn't find it? You go out shopping to the store looking for something and you didn't find it. There are people, we be seeing people out on the Sabbath day. How do we know? Well, we can almost suspect that they know that they shouldn't be out on the Sabbath. How? What do they be saying to you? Shalom, Hebrews. Shalom, Hebrews. Shalom, Hebrews. Hold up, let me walk in wrong. Let me go on Walgreens. Huh? Yeah, going from store to store. I need to do that. Go ahead.
See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore he giveth you on the sixth day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day. So the people rested on the seventh day.
Okay. So, question. Cell phone. They hit the cell phone, man. I can't believe they turned me off. Yeah. Yeah, they turned my cell phone off. I'm gonna run up there to T-Mobile.
Oh.
Can you do that? Why can't I do it? By the time the Sabbath is over, they're going to be closed, and they're not open on when? They're not open on Sunday. And I need the cell phone. Can we do it? Wait a second now. It's a necessity, brother. Now, wait a second, brother. It's a necessity. I need the cell phone. I'm expecting a call from my job. I'm waiting for a call from a job, waiting for a job interview, waiting for my baby mama to call. You sisters waiting for somebody waiting for their baby daddy. He got the kids. He got the kids. They cut the phone. They cut the phone off. He got the kids. You got to bring my kids. You got to bring your kids. You got to bring your kids. You got to bring your kids. This phone is off. You ain't playing no games. They close on Sunday. What is it? Can you go up there and get it turned on? It's just, what's that? Apparently there are some who exclude the wife for Sabbath because she's not. I'm not sure what you're saying. Can sisters raise a hand? Can you go and get it done? Y'all think it's a trick? I'm just asking. What scenario can make you go up to the T-Mobile? Somebody got the children. Somebody got the children. Somebody got the children. They close on Sunday. You ain't gonna, and you know they're supposed to bring them back. And you need those children. And you gotta wait till Monday. You ain't playing it because they play games. What you think? Can you go up to T-Mobile? Hurry up and do it. Can you hurry up and do it? Does that make a difference? I'm gonna hurry up and do it. I'm gonna hurry up and do it. I'm just running in and running out. Whitney, you thinking?
I'm not.
She's thinking. She like, I ain't playing. He got Dallas and Dash. No, you cannot hurry up and do it. She rules. You cannot hurry up and do it. You have to drive over there physically then. See? I just saved you from breaking the laws. Whatever time you were supposed to get the call or they were supposed to be back, why don't you show up an hour early there? Or several hours if you need to give heads up, or use another phone if you don't have you got it in the what's your name in the contacts. So you can use another phone to call over there and say, hey, my phone is off until Monday. Just bring them. I'll be here. Why you ain't run up there and pay it? I'll get it done. Thanks anyway. Leave it like that. Right. We running. What made me think about that is that the spot that we was teaching at today, we would be on the opposite side, right on the bus stop, in the midst of the people. Instead of facing them now, we would be right there. And it's about that bad little corner right there where they threatening us all that. They stole our car before. From right there. Yeah. We We ain't new to they little heathenness. Right in our face, man. They be used to be they drug the street teacher camera down the street that was hooked up to the cord. So we ain't used to them being bad, man. Straight up. We ain't been, we ain't been. I better not see y'all no more. I start saying, nigga, we gonna be right back here next week since you said something. Straight up. But I ain't say nothing. I was just like, I gotta keep it kosher. Like,
You're right.
brother, it ain't like that. Like, well, we ain't scared of you is the last thing, brother. You will drop dead messing with us. The Lord is here, man.
Yeah,
You is tripping. You don't know who you talking to, man. I don't like you, cuz. And I was speaking so calm to him, like, and you manipulating this situation. You talking all smooth and stuff. See, I don't like what you're doing. I said, brother, what am I doing? See? You're trying to, I ain't gonna calm down. You're trying to get me to calm down. Yes, man. Yes, but he was saying all of this, man. He was out there tripping, bro. He was out there tripping, faking like he had something.
Yeah. It's like, no, move on. Maybe I'll move. Yeah. That's hilarious.
So by no means necessary do we, these are all the things that Israel did, man. No means necessary do we get away with all the Sabbath. Somebody said borrow a phone. Head said remember that 911 still works if your phone is cut off for any reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 911 will still work. Okay. See any more comments on it? Did I miss? So was that it? What's still open throughout?
Nothing other than people want to read to the end.
Okay. Okay. Any Exodus 31. We'll bring this in pertaining to the Sabbath, and then we can, if no questions, we could just cut it and let everybody finish, go and rest or do whatever. What time's on here? How much time is on that? Hour.
2:33.
Okay.
2:22. So this is Exodus chapter 31.
Yeah, Exodus 31 and verse 13 or 12.
Exodus 31 and 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations.
So every Sabbath that come up, Israel, you are expected to be keeping it, whether it's the new moon Sabbath or Sabbath of the high holy days. This is a good one here. Sabbath of the high holy days. You don't be like, oh, you keep the 7th-day Sabbath, but you won't keep the other Sabbaths. No. Okay? You can't do that. I ain't gonna run with it. I was gonna, because I want to get us out. But you can't do that. Every Sabbath that we tell you, and I try to do a good job at informing everybody when the Sabbath is. So you must keep it. When's the next new moon Sabbath?
Sunday, the 20.
Next Sunday, not this Sunday.
Yeah, next. Yeah, my bad. Monday.
Next month, this Monday coming.
Right, okay. So I'm gonna give you the date. Next Monday at evening. So somebody look at the calendar. So that'd be the 20th. July 20th at evening. So July 20th at evening is the new moon. And that is a Sabbath. So from even unto even. So July 20th, from Monday at evening to Tuesday at evening. So Tuesday, that class, that'll be a Sabbath. Okay? So we'll be here. We'll start the feast Monday at even. So we'll be here Monday at even to feast. And then we'll hold the Sabbath service to the new moon with the whole time, but our class will still remain on that Tuesday at 6:30. So you must remember the first day of the week on Sunday or Monday before it's dark, do all the buying and do all the selling. And then don't feel no type of way. So now I'm gonna have to get it. Amos. Amos chapter 8 and verse 4.
This is Amos chapter 8 and verse 4.
And a lot of people don't understand that because they don't wholeheartedly serve the Lord, that's where a lot of lack of success come in at. Do we feast on the new moon? Yes, we do. The new moon is a feast day. It signifies the beginning of months, and we acknowledge it by holding it holy unto the Lord, the Sabbath, and it's a feast day. The only time you do not cook on the new moon, the whole entire Sabbath, is when? When? On the seventh day. If it falls on a Friday, so that Sabbath meal, you hold that as the feast. Or if you with the congregation and it's a bunch of y'all, all that food should be prepared. So when it gets dark, you don't be trying to reheat it up and got the little candles up under the stuff. What are those called? Burners and the burner tables and the crock pots and the microwave ovens and all of that stuff. That is wicked doing that. Don't let Satan enter into your heart to be trying to warm food and keep it hot and all that. Don't do that. Leave that stuff alone, man. I know a lot of Israelites out there doing that. They got to learn to do better. They got to learn to stop. Because these things right here, that's the type of stuff that be withholding the blessings from you. So don't be subtle like that. Oh, I'm smart. It ain't an oven, it's a burner. All right. So hear this, O you that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail. People are trying, and you making them fall because you got a bad example. Go ahead.
Saying, when will the new moon be gone?
Right, you want the new moon to be over. Why? Because the Lord stopped you from doing your deal. Something come up and it falls on the new moon, and now you can't do it. You can't do that. You can't think like that. Go ahead.
That we may sell corn.
That we may, because you cannot sell on the Sabbath day, and the new moon is the Sabbath. I want to get back to work. Yes, people be working from day 1 to day 6, but then all of a sudden the new moon come in and miss, and now all of a sudden, that throw a monkey wrench in your progress. I've been keeping these high holy days and these new moons for decades, and it ain't threw a monkey wrench in my progress yet. So it ain't gonna hurt you. As a matter of fact, in doing so, the Most High is gonna bless you. Of course, you're gonna be thinking about the money. Back when I was younger, I was working in the union, and they would be trying to pay money. Well, even then, I was keeping. The new moon came, and I had to work, and it didn't matter what day it fell on. Dude just told me, just tell me. Nobody else didn't have it like that. Josh didn't even have it like that. You know, I was his older then. He was coming to the same school. I didn't have to work on no high holy day. I ain't never have to work. I wasn't doing that. Never. Since I've been in the truth, man, I've been all about Shema Mashiach Yahushua, man. I ain't never doing none of that. Never. I ain't cutting my beard. I ain't cutting my hair. I'm wearing my fringes. I ain't coming to work. It's been like that the whole time I've been in the truth, steamrolling through every job, just like that. But when I go to work, I go to work. I don't play no games. I do my business. They always respected me. I get paid and I leave. Now, come weekends, they offer you that good money. I let that stuff go. So I know how it is to want to make money, so to have money in your mind, like, man, am my check gonna be short X, Y, and Z? I never even tripped off of that. Of course I knew. So during the times where I would take the new moon off or Purim off and Nicanor off, them Sabbaths during that time, I just lose that money. I stopped worrying about, my check is gonna be short, because I've always worried about applying the scriptures. That's where we gotta work at getting to where we can stop counting the money and we can start applying the scriptures. Because I understand that you might be thinking like, well, man, I'm gonna be losing. No, you losing because sometimes we have to fix things that we mess up. Remember, the Lord say you bring that money home and he blow upon it. That a lot of times you stuff that you messed up, this, that, and the other, you paying for, you trying to catch up. That's the Lord. Yeah, that's the Most High. But he didn't put it on you. You just ain't realize. You think that it's the natural course. You don't always have to live life in the red financially. Always playing catch up. Always banquet upon born. Always $1 short. Always ain't got enough because of this, that, and the third. That's the Most High. Now just imagine if you had no debt and you missed a day at work and you didn't have nothing that you had to pay back. Stuff like that. That day, those 8 hours on that check wasn't really about nothing because all the money that you've been paying, you've been able to save. So actually, when that day came around and you got off, that actually did its purpose. What's the purpose of a Sabbath? Rest. So you was able to rest and feel good about it. You needed that. I used to actually need the Sabbath day because I would come home so dusty, man, from working hard. Trust me, when you working under them crackers, man, they stand over you to see, make sure you're still moving. You got to move every moment until break. You don't get to sit around, look in your phone, sit down, find nothing to do, eat chips. You don't get to do that. Please, I mean, they want progress. If you're a builder, a drywaller, a framer, whatever it is you're doing, they want progress. And you got to be working. They want to see you bent over working, man. So when the Sabbath day came around, the new moon came around, I was glad I didn't have to go. I was like, man, I'm at home resting. So start looking at the Sabbath like that. Call the Sabbath of the light. That's what the Lord said in Isaiah 58. He said, call the Sabbath of the light, man. The holy of the Lord. Honor him. The Lord wants you to honor him, man. When you start honoring the Most High, he going to honor you. We just got to rearrange our thinking process. Okay? So now, let's get this so we can get out of here. I thought we was going to get out with some daylight. I'm trying to let you go. What does it say? Verse 5 now.
Saying, when will the new moon be gone?
Right. When will the new moon be gone? Meaning the Sabbath over. Go ahead.
That we may sell corn. And the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat. Making the ephah small and the shekel great.
Petty self. Go ahead.
And falsifying the balances by deceit.
Right. So I brought you here to show you that here is an example where people dealing wrong with other people on the new moon Sabbath. Declaring that, letting this information let you know that the new moon is a Sabbath. So when that Sabbath come around, if maybe you're not fortunate like I was fortunate, and your job demands that you be on the schedule, and if you cannot be on the schedule, then they're going to be replacing you. They're going to give you issues and problems. Well, Deuteronomy 28 told us that we would have to serve this man, 47, for the one of all things. So the Most High understanding, that's the most important part. But say, for instance, you're an entrepreneur. You work for yourself. You have a company. You control when you go to work and when you stop. You can give yourself a day off without firing yourself, can't you? I hope so. I hope so. So then you should plan accordingly. Those of you that have to work on that Sabbath day, on that new moon Sabbath, and you can't get it off, guess what? You know, you don't want, that's you. You got it, because we be feasting late. And a lot of times we have festivities to where the house be burning and we don't need no water. Let it burn. And right in the midst of everything going on, you start thinking about what time you got to get up. And you don't like that feeling. That's the reason, you know, but that's another thing, you know. So doing our own thing gives us control of that. Okay. Lord's will, we get into some what is it? Something I've been brewing for a while. Dang. What is it, Jazz, I'll talk to you about?
Non-for-profit.
Non-for-profit. Getting some non-for-profit, you know, we'll be able to orchestrate our own thing. And those of you that are not afraid to get on board and make this thing permanent, guess what? You'll be able to have a job that will be able to employ you, and the General Assembly will be your employer, and you don't have to worry about getting up to work the next day because we ain't scheduling you to work the next day. You'll have every feast day off, every high holy day off, every Sabbath day off, evenings off. So you won't have a reason to say, "Oh, I can't come to class." So all those things, Lord's will be in line. To all you got to do is just serve the Most High, because that's the whole objective, that the Most High calling Israel into this world, into this truth from the world. So you can have all of that stuff without the worrying of a job, this, that, and the third. So we'll see, right? Let's finish this. Go back to Exodus chapter 31. So that's a sign. Keeping that lets the Most High know that you're listening to him. So we read verse 13. Verse 14, you shall keep the Sabbath. Go ahead, start the communion out. You shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defiled it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest, holy unto the Lord. Now, we cannot put anybody to death. We cannot put anybody to death, but the Most High going to judge us at the end for defiling the Sabbath. These shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for perpetual covenant. Are we still descending? Of course. So now once we pick it back up and we start applying the Sabbath, now we have to teach our children that they may teach their children, that they may teach their children. What happens if we don't teach our children? They ain't going to teach the next generation. Then that thing is cut off. Okay? Then that thing is cut off. So we don't want the commandments cut off out of our life. We want them enforced from generation to generation because we're trying to inherit. Do you know that it's prophetic that we would receive our children back to us again? I'm trying to see all of you in the kingdom of the Lord, like y'all should be trying to see me in the kingdom of the Most High. And us and our children, okay, we want to see our children in the kingdom of the Most High. How do we do that? Keep the Sabbath and the rest of the commandments and the laws, statutes, and ordinances that go along with it. Not breaking them by keeping them, though, okay? Now, it is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. So you should not be crying about other people not keeping the Sabbath day and stuff like that. This is for us. We got to stop. We have got to stop. Before we can want somebody else to respect the Most High, we got to respect our God. So when we out and we teaching people and telling them about the Sabbath, let them know this is a sign that you're dealing with the Most High. If you're not keeping the Sabbath, you're not dealing with the Most High. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested, and what he was refreshed. Okay, so now any questions? All right, Matthew 26. Matthew chapter 26. You're welcome. Y'all support the General Assembly. Do something simple as share the video. Share the video. Thank you. Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. So now when Yahushua, when the word calls Jesus, was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box, a very precious ornament, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. When his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? But his ointment have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua, when the word calls Jesus, once again, when he understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she have wrought good work upon me, for ye have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. For in death shall put this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also that this woman have done be told for a memorial of her. So all praises to the Most High for giving us sister the spirit to come forth and keep the commandments and bring forth a beautiful example of a broken and contrite heart. So all praises to the Most High. I don't know what I can do about it right now, but okay, y'all behave. First Corinthians 11:23. All right, y'all. That's enough. First Corinthians 11:23. For I received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus, we say Yahushua because we know he has a Hebrew name. Okay. Jesus is a Greek translation. The same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. When they had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament of my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. For let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. All right. Brothers and sisters, I want each and every last one of you out there to remember to take the communion of Christ. If you be in our classes, you must take the communion of Christ. That's what this is all about. This brings you into the fellowship of the Spirit, okay? So all you have to do, the bread that we use is a simple Triscuit. It's unleavened, Triscuit. There's no secret. There's no science behind it. Uh-oh. See this? Triscuit. Go to the store and get your box. Get your wine. If you're not a drinker like myself, the only time that you're trying to drink it is just get you a little cup, a little shot glass, and have the communion every time after class. This is something that the Lord said. He said, do this in remembrance of him. So you got to remember that. I know a lot of brothers and sisters, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but it should be happening by all Israel all the time. Our repentant Israelites should be doing the communion. If you are doing the communion out there, show me some hearts. Show some hearts if you are doing the communion, either or, on was this Facebook and YouTube. You're doing the communion. I don't see any hearts. I'm saying that brothers and sisters not doing it, but we should be doing it.
Great. Okay, anybody else? Great, good, all praises. So, that's it, okay? So, let's get Most High, in the name of Christ, thank you for the food and drink, amen.
Amen.
This is body which is broken for you. This is blood. Okay. So listen, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube, the General Assembly and Church of the Firstborn. And somebody post a come around this way. Can somebody post a YouTube video in the class with a link? And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the YouTube. Yeah, that's it right there. So listen, Israel, write out the prayers. I have an announcement. Write out the prayers. I'll get offline, make the announcement. So we don't have to sit down, but you do have to be quiet. So Israel, stay around for the prayers. We're gonna stand and face Jerusalem, all right? Let's go. Okay, Israel.
If every man was just like me, what kind of sanctuary would this be?
The Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6:9. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The laborer's prayer, Luke 10:2. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Bless you, Most High, King of heaven and earth, and all things, Most High, in the name of Christ. Send more disciples and teachers to your people, to gather your people Israel, and send counsel behind your laws to stand before thy people Israel. Give to us strength to break down our lives with thy word. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The blessing of Israel. Numbers chapter 6 and 24. Children of Israel, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And in Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Children of Israel, bless one another.
The Most High in the name of Christ bless you all.
Okay, let me get offline. Be right with you. All right, Israel, shalom. Most High in Christ bless. Good night. What's up, Judah? All praises, brother. All praises. Yes, sir. All praises. Hey, give me a call either tonight or tomorrow, all right, brother? All right, shalom. Y'all have a good night.